So people see me by myself all the time. In all my videos, I'm by myself. If somebody go out with me, they be trying to get all in the picture and do all that. I don't know them folks. Everybody know that. Everybody knows that, you know. Let me just keep it real and be humble about my experience right quick. When I was in elementary school at Hambrick Elementary, I experienced segregation between me and my brothers and sisters. First of all, I'm going to say when I got on the bus with my mother one time, because I don't really remember my mother riding the bus a lot when I was a very little girl. I remember me and my 3 sisters, and my mother used to always do our hair really nice. But there was a little Hispanic girl on the bus. And I remember that people was like, oh, looking at the little Hispanic girl hair. Oh, look at her hair. She's so pretty. Her hair's so pretty. La, 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 la. But here we were just as beautiful with African American hair. And I didn't know anything about racism. So I was wondering, well, why they don't say our hair is pretty. But I didn't know what was going on, because our hair was very pretty, very pretty. But they were talking about the texture of the little girl's hair. So I also remember experiencing a little bit of racism from my African sister from overseas. She came to speak with us. She was an older lady when I was in elementary school, maybe kindergarten or first grade. She asked the class, she was like, who in here is African? And I raised my hand. She looked at me and said, no, put your hand down, little girl, you got white man blood. And I'm thinking, oh, she got to be kidding me, because I knew that on my birth certificate it said I was African American or black or whatever. So why was this woman from Africa, dark-skinned woman from Africa, visiting my class and had the nerve to tell me in the class to put my hand down because I was not African? She told me that I had white man's blood. And I do not, first of all, but my son does. And even if I did, that's not no reason to segregate me from my people. And I didn't know if I was mixed with white or not, because my mom told me that Andrew was not my father when I was 16. So I would look in the mirror and I couldn't identify myself. So the Lord did reveal to me that I'm African and Indian. He revealed to me that I'm not white. I didn't think I was, but this is what other people were saying. And I didn't know how to respond. So I know now who I am, what I am, and I know what my son is. My son, his father is Caucasian, but his mother is African and Indian. So and I got the facts of that. My grandmother is Indian, my grandfather is African. That's the end of it. But as far as my father or whatever, the Lord knows what was going on with that. So when I went to Hambrick Elementary School, I recall a little black boy coming up to me, and he was probably about my complexion, you know, maybe even some sort of the same ethnicities or ethnic traits. And he came to me and he said that he wanted to know what I was. He was like, what are you? And I was like, I'm Indian, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, oh, well, I like the girls that got the Puerto Rican in them. I want one of those girls over there that got the Hispanic in them, you know? And I was like, okay, you know, I was in second grade. I was like, well, go over there with the girls that got Hispanic in them then. And that's what he did. And they had us segregated. They had me pretty much sitting by myself, and I was African and Indian. And they had a mulatto girl who was African and Caucasian. And then they had the other girls grouped up, and they were African and Hispanic. And I didn't realize it until I got older that we were segregated. There were no other students in the classroom that were darker than us. They were in other classrooms. And then I didn't even know that they had Chinese students or white students because they had them in other classrooms. And sometimes based off of your, the knowledge and your IQ, they will sometimes put the black children with some of the other children. But it was a lot of segregation going on, even in the school. This also took place in the workplace as far as who could qualify for certain jobs and where such and such had to work. Oh, we're going to put such and such in the kitchen, and these type of ethnicity girls got to work the front, and they got to clean the toilets. And, it was a burden. And when God revealed to me that was wrong, then I understood where my pain and suffering was coming from. So one thing that I got upset about was I felt like an outcast from people because people, they was not glorifying, God. And they were glorifying their ethnicities. This white girl this, that white girl that, Hispanic girl this, Hispanic girl that, African this, African that, and I'm sitting over there like, I'm not glorifying that, I'm not none of that, you feel me? So it was kind of hard for me to have to come around people and then them all, you need to try to make your hair look like a white girl, Hispanic girl, or try to make yourself look like the other African girl. And I'm like, I'm too oppressed, to be worrying about any of that, and then I ended up being by myself a lot because people outcasted me. And at first, I took it really hard when I was younger, but I always did music and stuff, so then I stopped kind of wanting people around me because they'll be distracting me from work. If I gotta go to work, people will wanting to mess up my job and everything. So I was able to spend a lot of time to myself and actually learn to keep people the hell away from me because they was always trying to pull some BS. But I put up this scripture because I realized how much of a blessing it is if you got the income and things to be by yourself, because when I had got my inheritance money, people was coming all around me just trying to be evil. And they wanted to do that until they see me with nothing. And that's just all they wanted to see. That's all they wanted to do. So this little scripture right here, it say, I'm gonna read it up to the scripture. That's one of my favorites right here. So it say, answer me when I call, oh God, about righteousness. And this is how I got close to God. I didn't get close to God because some pastor blessed my name and put his hand on my head and say, I approve of you in the name of Jesus. No. Every time I went into church, the pastor was always looking at how fresh I was from head to toe, talking about all these young kids always spending their money on clothes, Then if you come in there looking toe down, they're going to be like, the Holy Spirit, she needs to get her life together. It's like, at the end of the day, I didn't really need to go through them to find God. It wasn't until I stopped going. I went to an African church and had a really good experience. But even they was looking at me like, why is she here? She not one of us. So, I will say that I had a really good experience there, though, but because I ended up getting pregnant after being barren for years. But let me go ahead and say this. It say, you have given me relief when I was in distress. Be gracious to me and hear my prayer. Oh, man, how long shall my honor be turned into shame? How long will you love vain words and seek after lies? Because that's what it is. I be sitting up there listening to these preachers like, you sitting over here siding with people that's oppressing us. That's what y'all doing. You sitting over here siding with people that are oppressing us, talking about forgive them, talking about love them, talking about God ain't said nothing to us, talking about, I got demons, talking about I got to sit up there and not fight for me and my kids, talking about I can't speak out and have a voice, talking about me like a damn dog, involved with people trying to conspire against my life, and then sit over there and think you gonna hold the Bible and preach to me? It be lies. They get up there and just be being vain. And they talking about, I'm being vain. I'm not being vain. I'm being for real. I'm being for real. That's what it is. And so a lot of these other girls, women that I feel like they did this to, they was very sweet. They were very nice, very humble women. You know, and I ain't gonna say that I'm not humble, because I am. But I'm a little different than those women. You know, like, I watched their channels for a long time. And those women did what they said to do. They was nice. They loved their enemy. They forgave them. They let it go. And then was sitting up there in their house with motherfuckers coming and kicking in the fucking door when they wasn't even worried about their ass. Sitting over there, pulling over people and arresting them. And then next thing you know, they hung in the cell. Sitting over there with people not even worried about y'all, shooting them in their fucking house. I'm a little different. I'm different. I'm not gonna sit there and just be like, oh, you know, like, I just gonna let it go. You know, oh, I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna forgive and forget. Nah, I'm not. Cause I ain't weak like that. And I'm not saying they weak, but I'm just saying I understand what been done to a lot of these people out here. So no, somebody gotta stand strong at some point. And it seem like I'm standing by myself. And it say, but I know that the Lord has set the godly apart for himself. And that's very important. Because all them people that didn't want to hang out with me, all them people that were talking, that was sitting there talking all that crap about me, guess what? They were Satanists. They was worshiping the damn devil. So for God to have kept me by myself, I was hidden for many years in my apartments. Every time I had my own place, I was hiding. I was hiding from all of them people. I didn't want to come out to come to work, hiding from them. I didn't want to come out to go no damn where that I didn't have to go. Hiding. You know, and when I did go to work, I'm hiding in the workplace, trying to stay out the way. Hiding. Going to school, hiding. Hiding from these people. I was hidden by the Lord. And now I see why. Because look at the hell they've been doing. And they've been doing this since they were young. And I wasn't doing that. And they all were coming over there trying to get me to engage in sin. Oh, do this. Oh, do that. That's why I love the Bible verse that say, get away from me, ye evildoers, that I may keep the commandments of my God. And even though they done left me outside, stole my house, my car, my child, everything that I own, and tried to keep me from having any money in this country, they still won't stop coming around me. Still won't leave me the hell alone. That's the least they could do. You try to leave me outside with nothing to starve, the least you could do is leave me the hell alone so I can keep the commandments of my God. So God was not making no mistakes when he allowed me to be by myself, away from my demonic ass family members, away from demonic ass friends, away from people that want to just argue and fight and conspire and spread rumors. It was a blessing to be able to get away from them. It was a blessing. I asked God, Jehovah, deliver me from Cynthia and Austin and Joseph Overa. I wanted them to leave me the hell alone. And they ain't want to let me get away. All that, I wanted her to have her own money. I wanted her to have a job. Yeah, but them white women on them jobs didn't want me to have no money. They didn't want me to have no independence. They didn't want that. Because not only do they want to oppress you on the job, but they want to be able to ride past you, riding in their car, while you walking up and down the damn street, knowing that the reason why is because they are oppressing you in the place where you need to make your money. And I was very nice, very kind, very humble. And they didn't like that either because they got this little stereotype where they say, oh, the angry black woman, the loud ghetto black woman, and I was not that. I was very well behaved and I was very well mannered, and I still am, but this time I'm not taking no shit. So they did not like the fact that they couldn't say nothing bad about me. They couldn't say I was not doing my job. Couldn't call me no lazy nigga. Because that's what people like. They like to call black people lazy and call us names. And I was not lazy. My mama always taught me to work when I was in the home. I always had to clean. And I was very good on my jobs. And they all would come and pick at me and pick at me and pick at me and pick at me to try to have something to say. Because as a white person, they're supposed to be able to drag black people down and always nitpick at black people, because that's what makes them feel better about themselves. That's what makes them feel superior to us, is to constantly be tearing us down. But when we doing good and we shining and we the ones who really should be in the management positions, they don't like that. So they gotta come try to find a reason to make it seem like you doing something wrong every minute of the day, and that's workplace harassment. And I was reporting it. And I was getting in trouble for reporting it. That's workplace abuse. So it run real deep how people be talking about these stereotypes, because I was never disrespectful to any of them. They didn't like the fact that I was nice to them. They didn't like the fact that I was well-mannered. They didn't like none of that, because they wanted to be able to say, oh, the loud, angry black woman. So since people was always saying, oh, Andrea is so nice, Andrea should be the manager, Andrea always working up here, she the one who be running the whole place, why is she getting less than everybody in the company? Why does she have the less position than everybody in the company? Doing surveys trying to get me to be a manager. Everybody always say, oh, it's nice and pleasant to come across a black woman that don't have a nasty attitude. And I didn't like those comments, because I know some very nice, I thought I did, know some very nice black women. So at the end of the day, they didn't like that. They needed to hurt me and beat me down as much as they could to make me start yelling and screaming and crying out for my freedom and for my vindication. And then so they could sit around and say, oh yeah, look at that crazy black bitch laughing, all loud, and then talking about me, talking about I'm an angry black woman and I'm ghetto. And the black men liked it too, because they was over there talking about us and treating us bad and trying to glorify all these other women above us, trying to treat us like the scum under their foot. And I didn't deal with nobody. People could call me a hoe because they took advantage of me, but I was practically a virgin because I didn't want to give it to nobody. People swindled me to try to get any kind of affection from me when it came down to trying to take advantage of me. And that's what a lot of black men wanted. They didn't want to see me being successful. No, they did not, because they could not take advantage of me. Because I didn't have to deal with them coming up in my house with no bullshit. I didn't have to deal with them. You want to say you want to run off with a white woman and you feel white women, Hispanic women better? Okay, run off with them. But I'm going to hold my head up and I'm going to keep on going to work. I'm going to keep on taking care of my child. I'm going to keep on loving my God. And I'm going to keep on not paying y'all attention. And they didn't like that either. So you going to take it upon yourself to kill me, to make yourself the subject of my mouth and my conversation? I don't give a damn about having to talk about y'all. But when y'all persecuting me, because I'm not finna worship somebody like they my God because of the color of their skin, I'm not doing it. And I say it as many times as I have to. And y'all can poison me. And I remember this little girl, I'm not going to mention who child it was, because I only mention stuff when the Lord tell me to. And if he ain't told me to mention nothing about nobody's child, then I'm not going to do it. But the times that I have mentioned anything about anybody's children, it was because God told me to. And I'm going to tell you something else that God said. There was some, hold on. I'm going to get back to the story. But God said there was some men trying to get my suitcase, my little purple suitcase, and try to tell me they wanted to take me out of town and then try to drop me off and make me leave the state of Texas, because they don't want to deal with how they have wronged me in the state of Texas. People don't want no consequences. And the Most High said, if they don't leave her alone with her stuff and stop trying to, because I do want to leave, but I don't want to leave under them circumstances, and God does not want me to leave under them circumstances because my child is still here. My child is still in the state of Texas. So I ain't know you gonna run the mama off and keep my baby after y'all done tried to murder me and done raped me. You got me fucked up. I'm staying. My baby coming with me. My child coming with me. And the Lord was like, he will expose all the African American men. He said he will expose anybody who is abusing their children and molesting their children or allowing their little girls to act too grown out here with these grown-ass men, that's illegal. And God said that if y'all try to make Andrea Jones leave Texas, that he will expose them. He said he will tell everything that they really doing out here, that the black men doing out here. As far as these little girls, as far as their daughters. And I know it's a lot to it. It's a lot to it. And technically people could say that's not my business, but if God gave me the message, you know, he gave me the message. So one of the little girls wanted me to read her the story of Snow White. She came up to me, and it's funny how children work because they are so amazing. They are so beautiful, especially these little black girls. You know, all the children gravitate towards me. The white kids, the black kids, the Hispanic kids, and it's sad that they being raised by racist-ass parents, man. They want to sit around and teach these children to be hateful. By the time they get to elementary school, you think that's not going into their subconscious? Yes, it is. In middle school, high school, and then they become adults and claim that they like black people, but they got that deep-seated racist mentality. See, my child, I ain't gonna raise my child to be racist, but I'm gonna raise him to understand what's been really going on. Because they gonna try, at some point, they gonna try to make you feel like you less than because you got black in you. And I ain't never gonna let him feel that way. So when the time comes, I'ma have a conversation with him if need be. You ain't less than no goddamn body. Just because we African and we Indian. Ain't no white man on this earth better than you. And you can do anything that you put your mind to, and they know I'm gonna be the type of mama that if you up there oppressing my son on his job, I'm gonna come up there and I'm gonna tell you, don't oppress my son on this job. And if anybody try to bully him, I'm gonna be up there and I'm gonna tell y'all, don't be bullying my son because of his ethnicity. And I ain't never had nobody do that for me. So they wanna tell my baby from me. Because they know I'm not going to let nobody abuse him. And that's what his daddy was doing. And he was not even 2 years old. Feeling like because he's a little color boy, you could just abuse him and do whatever you want to do to him. And you got me fucked up. But I read the little story to the girl. And there was a witch in the story. And everybody in the book was white. But I'm going to tell y'all something about the witch. The witch would look in the mirror and she would say, who is the fairest of them all? Who is the fairest of them all? And that reminded me a lot of how, in similarity of how the white women was presenting themselves in the media and how they was causing everybody to have to try to glorify them, you know, or they will get angry. And this is what has been going on, you know, in the music videos. Oh, the white woman, we're the fairest. And then the black men talking about, they the fairest of them all. And you see, I never really put it together until I got to the part about Snow White. And I was reading it to the little girl, and the Wicked Witch wanted to take Snow White wanted Snow White to go into the woods, and then she sent hunters after Snow White to kill Snow White, but the hunters did not want to do it. And that reminded me a lot of black women. How white women have always been holding themselves up in this country like they the fairest of all the women in the land. Like they the fairest of all the Hispanic, the Chinese, the Indian, and the black women. They hold themselves like they and any other women from other nations. They hold themselves up like they're the fairest of them all. And then it's like the mirror. It's like all the nations where they want everybody to say, oh, you're the fairest of them all. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that's straight up witchcraft. Because they know you the fairest of all the women in the land. And then you got the black women out there being haunted. And then I found out on the Indian reservations that Indian women is winding up missing. Indian women is winding up dead. But ain't nobody saying nothing. But everybody's still glorifying the white woman. She's still over there at the Trump rallies, holding up her little sign, hoo-hoo, looking all, well kept, while everybody else gotta get towed down, while everybody else gotta live in nasty ass houses, while everybody else gotta be oppressed all over the job. Nobody can't say nothing to no white woman. And then people want to come out to try to beat on you for her. And that ain't right. So another part was the poison apple. When the witch came to Snow White and said, eat the poison apple. Well, she didn't know it was poisonous. And then she ate it. And then I'm seeing how they was over here poisoning me. How white women was sitting there poisoning me. And trying to do everything to try to make me ugly. So they could feel like they was the fairest of all the black women and everything. And then sitting over there poisoning people. Like that same goddamn witch out that story. And then if you go look up a witch, you gonna see all these white women dressed up like witches. And they look just like the ones from the storybooks. But see, the crazy part is that Snow White was white. She wasn't black. And I think that's what makes it so crazy. Another part was when the prince had to kiss Snow White in order for her to wake up. It took the kiss of Jesus. Not a prince, but a king. In order to wake me up. Because I was in a dead sleep. Because of all that goddamn poison. So I know a lot because God showed me how these white women were talking about, oh, I need to have Bible study with Andrea Jones because they know I love the Lord. And they know that he is my defense against everything that they have done to me and everything that they still trying to do. So they want to be able to take control of the word. They want to be able to try to manipulate me with it. And God showed me a white woman trying to invite me over for Bible study. And then he said, she don't need you to teach her. And then he showed the Bible turned into a book of spells. And she turned into the same witch out of them stories. She with the white hair and a little cloak and the pimple, you know what I'm saying? Sitting there being evil. Trying to use the Bible to curse me instead of what it's used for when I read it. That's why I don't need them to teach me. Because you ain't trying to break curses of oppression. They ain't trying to break curses of oppression. They trying to keep us under them yokes. In that bondage. And God knows that. So no. Ain't no because I know that the Lord is for me. And if I got to be by myself, then ain't nobody going to stand against me. You going to go try to get a Bible. Talking about you going to teach me and talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old child. And you know damn well I'm Andrea Jones. So ain't no you gonna talk to me like I'm no 5-year-old child. And ain't no white man finna get the Bible and then try to quote the scripture and talk to me like you the God of the earth. Because I know that Jesus Christ reigns. I know that. Because in the spirit, soon as I call on Jesus, oh Jesus, they run like hell. So it got to be something going on in the physical world too, as far as Jesus Christ and his reign. And I know that that's what's wrong with the devil. That's what's wrong with Satan and all his workers, is that something is happening as far as Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ said something about his bloodline. Now, I know I'm African and I'm Indian, but they had me in there trying to kill me, and Jesus Christ said something about his bloodline. And he said when he come back that he murking. And ain't nobody never taught you that the Lord even talk like that. See, they gonna teach, oh, God love everybody. He coming back to say everybody. But why you ain't talking about the fact that the Lord say he murking when he come back? They got pictures of white Jesus all over the goddamn place. Then why did the Lord tell me that y'all need to go back to Revelations and then read and come back and tell me what color God is? That came from him. So this is why you can take whatever Bible you got and you can go study it for yourself. Don't come back to me trying to read nothing to me.